Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Cowboys avoid Rodgers rivalry as Russell Wilson signs. The Pittsburgh Steelers were likely closing on Aaron Rodgers, which meant they were closing out their one-year relationship with veteran quarterback Russell Wilson. Maybe former New York Jets quarterback Rodgers, a longtime Dallas Cowboys nemesis, will once again reach the heights as he did in Green Bay as a four-time NFL MVP, once he's locked into Pittsburgh. But at least Dallas won't have to deal with him twice a year. In his career, Rodgers has a record of 8-3 against the Cowboys. On bad teams, on good teams, on playoffs teams, when the chips were down, Rodgers won. But now? Well, the Cowboys will instead face Wilson as a member of the Giants for their twice-a-year battles inside the NFC East. Now, that is, if Wilson, who gets a one-year deal worth up to $21 million, holds up as the starter. A month from now, the Giants might have drafted Colorado QB Shedeur Sanders with the number 3 overall pick. And they just signed the comical Jameis Winston. And they also signed hometown folk hero Tommy DeVito. So, it's quite a QB room about to come together in New York. Wilson recently announced a sort of vote of confidence for himself, writing on social media, "Relentless confidence. Don't ever stop believing in you." Wilson wrote in a post on social media. And guess what? His career isn't quite Rodgers-esque. But Russ' record versus Dallas in the regular season is 5-1, with an 0-1 mark in the playoffs. So maybe the Cowboys should be a bit nervous about this rivalry, too. Wilson took over for Justin Fields, who recently signed a 2-year deal with the Jets, after a 4-2 start, a controversial Pittsburgh decision that for a time worked out. Wilson won 6 of his first 7 starts, keeping Pittsburgh competitive with the top teams in the AFC as they jostled for playoff positioning. However, his work faded. The Steelers made the playoffs after an awful losing streak. And Wilson's men numbers, 2,482 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions, were capped by a playoff rout at the hands of the Baltimore Ravens. Can Rodgers promise to be much better? We doubt it. But now Russ is in New York and Rodgers is likely to be in the Steel City, and all Dallas has to do to get off on the right foot in the NFC East is to at least make sure they're better than the Giants, who were 3-14 last year. Dak Prescott's Cowboys are better than Russell Wilson's Giants, right? 6 players from Texas Pro Day that could be Cowboys draft targets. A year after seeing a program-high 11 players selected in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Texas Longhorns may be knocking on the door of setting the record again in 2025. 21 Longhorns participated in the program's Pro Day on Tuesday in Austin, and a good number of players may be available for the Cowboys in next month's draft at positions of need. In franchise's history, the Cowboys have selected 12 players out of the University of Texas, with the most recent selection being DeMarvion Overshown in the 3rd round of the 2023 draft. That pick looks like a big hit, as Overshown is one of the most explosive players on Dallas defense when he's healthy. If the Cowboys want to turn to a burnt orange product to become another difference maker for them in the 2025 NFL Draft, they'll have their fair share of options to choose from across all 3 days of the draft process. Here are 6 names from Texas Pro Day that make sense for Dallas, and where the Cowboys could see them selected. Matthew Golden. W.R. Golden has arguably been the fastest rising prospect throughout the entire NFL draft process, and a strong combine performance likely cemented him into the first round after running a 4.29 40-yard dash, the second best among all participants. At Texas Pro Day, Golden once again looked the part, with crisp cuts in his routes and flashes of that 40-time catching passes from Quinn Ewers. The lone blemish on his day was a deep ball that went through his hands, but otherwise Golden hauled in his other 8 targets. When the ball hits his hands, it doesn't move, and Golden drew ohs and ahs from the crowd after each of his reps. If the Cowboys believe that Golden is the man to complement CeeDee Lamb, they'll need to select him in the first round, because his stock is sky high. Alfred Collins, DT defensive tackle Alfred Collins was seen in a walking boot on his left leg and did not participate in any drills during Texas Pro Day. A university spokesperson did not reveal what the injury was, and Collins did not speak to reporters, so we'll see what comes out of that situation. When healthy, Collins has shown the potential to be a potent run stuffer in the middle of the defensive line with a good amount of twitch and athleticism for his size at 6 feet 6 inches, 332 pounds. The uncertainty of the injury puts Collins' stock status in the air, but he's likely a plausible option for the Cowboys on day 2 to fill their need at defensive tackle. Jahdae Barron, DB. The Longhorns may have been looking to save the best for last, as Barron and some of the other defensive backs were the last of Texas players to work out in front of scouts. Barron was sharp in his turns during the 3-cone drill, and flew around the field in coverage drills just like he did on tape when he won the Thorpe Award in 2024. Versatility is the name of Barron's game, and he told reporters that he believes the fact that he can play corner, nickel, dime and even safety in the defensive backfield makes him the best cornerback prospect in this class. If Dallas shares that same belief and Barron falls to the 12th overall pick, then that's likely where they'll need to select him. Cowboys predicted to sign Pro Bowl Wr. The Dallas Cowboys are heading into a new stage of the organization next season, under the leadership of first-year head coach Brian Schottenheimer. Dallas finished the season with a 7-10 record, leading to the decision to promote Schottenheimer from within the staff and part ways with Mike McCarthy. As the Cowboys look to revamp their roster in the 2025 offseason, preparing themselves for a bounce-back year and a potential run in the playoffs, free agency additions should be a priority. In a recent free agency prediction article by Daniel Valente and Brendan Deeg at The Score, the Cowboys were predicted to sign one-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Tyler Lockett. Lockett played 10 seasons with the Seattle Seahawks before being released by the organization in the 2025 offseason. Last season, Lockett posted 2 touchdowns and 600 yards on 49 receptions. If the Cowboys were to sign Lockett, he would be playing alongside some elite talent in Dallas, such as quarterback Dak Prescott and wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. The Cowboys seem to consistently have the talent to compete for an NFC championship and potentially a Super Bowl, but they have struggled in the postseason during the Prescott era. The addition of a veteran like Lockett could certainly help the Cowboys take one step closer to their title hopes. And you, fan? What do you think about Tyler Lockett's situation? Write to us in the comments.